This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel Strat-O-Matic Baseball Excel Game of the Week.
Welcome back, baseball fans, to the Fall League Game of the Week, the final wild card game in the American League. The California Angels and the New York Yankees. The winner of this wild card game will play the number 2 seed Oakland A's in the divisional round of the playoffs. We already know Cleveland won their wild card game against Milwaukee. They'll play the Ohio players, the number 1 seed in the American League, in the divisional round. Pretty interesting history here. Let's start with the Angels, the visitors today, but they are no slouch. Since 1979 and beyond, they've added some star-studded pieces like Don Baylor, Brian Downing, Bobby Grich, Doug DeCinces. They don't have Rod Carew yet. They may not even get him because Ron Jackson is 333 at first base. They don't have Mr. October because he's over here. But 3 years ago, they lost the ALCS to Baltimore, who won the World Series. 2 years ago, they lost the World Series after beating Baltimore in the LCS. They lost the World Series to the Dodgers. A year ago, they lost the LCS to the Expos, who won the World Series. So their seasons have ended the last 3 years against the team who has won it all. Interestingly enough, in real life, the 79 Angels lost to Baltimore, who lost the World Series. And in 82, they lost to the Brewers, who lost the World Series to the St. Louis Cardinals. And the Yankees, of course, lost the 81 World Series. So that's some interesting history. As far as the Yankees go, they have not collected any hardware, folks. That's right. 76, 77, 78 Yankee hardware team came up empty while watching Boston get a World Series win, while watching Baltimore get a World Series win. How about that? How do you like those apples, as an old expression? And this part of the window, Yankees 1980 wins 100 games. 81, they are runner-up in the World Series, the year they added Dave Winfield. Then after that, it gets murky. So Angels, Yankees, wild card, individual game, play-in game. Your starting pitchers, for the visiting Angels, they have to go with number 2 star because Ken Forsch pitched a couple days ago. Mike Witt, look out, New York. He's very good against lefties, which they normally have a lot of, not as good against righties. And your New York Yankees will send out 1981 Ron Guidry, who had a magnificent year, by the way, in the strike. 11-5, 2.76 ERA in 127 innings. Mike Witt, Ron Guidry promises to be a heck of a game. Star-studded affair from the Bronx. Let's get started. Leading off for your California Angels, Bill Almond. 69, immediately off of Ron Guidry. Homer 1 of 7, double the rest. He's got power, and it's gone! Bill Almond turns on one, launches it down the left field line. It stays fair. It's out of the park near the pole. Holy smokes. And the Angels are up. Angels have a lot more postseason experience than the Yankees, at least in our carryover league, for whatever reason. Brian Downing, 1-7, single 1 of 17, gets it. Ron Jackson, the biggest reason why Rod Carew's not here, 47's a K. Bobby Grich, 36, 3-6. Let's take a look at Bobby Grich's 1981 card. What a great year. The best part of his career, 1979 through 81, he just dominated at second base. 30 home runs in 79. Strike year of 81, he's got 22 of them, and a 304 average, career high, I believe. 3-6, it is gone, and before the fans can get off the subway stop and buy their tickets from their scalper, they are down 3-zip. Don Baylor, 57, single 1 to 6, lines out. And Doug DeCinces, 34, grounds the third. Upset in the making? I don't know. You know, I mean, pretty even Steven here. Matter of fact, Reggie's in that dugout, you know, with a furrowed brow and grabbing his chin going, California, huh? Interesting. My 1980 card is up. I could move into my 1982 card and get a house in Orange County or somewhere. Anyway. For the Yankees, leading off, it'll be Willie Wilson. 37 is a strikeout. Lou Piniella, 34, lines the first. And Dave Rader, 33, lines the short. Yankees have kind of had to adjust their lineup for Mike Witt. Normally, Jay Johnstone, a lefty, and Jim Spencer, a lefty, be in the lineup. But they're going with Bob Watson and Lou Piniella. Both of those are 300 hitters. Hoping for some more offense, less defense. We go to the second. Dan Ford, Disco Dan Ford, 210, flies to center. Rick Peters, 58, flies to left. Mike Sadik, 38, is a base hit. And back up top to the slugging Bill Almone, 5'11", left X, out in left field. It's Piniella, he's a 3-E3, and he makes the catch. Bottom of 2, here he is, Mr. October, or Mr. February, or January. Reggie Jackson, 2-8. For Reggie, he's going to be double 111, a 2-base hit. Bob Watson, 2-8, rolls the third. Larry Milbourne, 46, second X. Gritch is a 2E16 at second. Not an error, got the correct E rating in. The runner will go to third on a ground ball with 2 outs. Third baseman, Greg Nettles. 68 is ball 4. Now, right-handed batter, that's an RBI single. Nettles is left-handed, it's just a walk. Runners in the corners, 2 outs for Al Cowens. 34 grounds to third. We go to the third. Brian Downing. 6-10 off, a Guidry is gone, and the Angels have a 4-0 lead. Oh boy, folks. Here we go again. Ron Jackson, let's take a look at a card. So you're probably wondering, well, where is Rod Carew? Well, we had the Twins deal him instead of California to the Toronto Blue Jays, who are looking for a spark, looking for something to get the Toronto fan base excited. So they sent Minnesota Twin Rod Carew to Toronto instead of California because of this guy. Ron Jackson's 1982 card is blocking him this year and the next as a .331 hitting first baseman, for Pete's sakes. And they certainly don't want him to play third base when you've got a 1 in Doug DeCinces. So Carew's going to have to wait a few more years if he wants to go to California. Perhaps even Reggie will wait. Who knows? Anyway, Ron Jackson, 58. It's a long fly ball to left field. Bobby Grich, 3-8. You saw the card, single 111. Lines out on an 18. And Baylor, 68. Double 1 to 3. It's a double. They're getting Guidry's card 3 times already. DeCinces, 64. Center B. 4-0. Bucky Dent, 38. Pops to short. Willie Wilson, 39. Flies to right. And Lou Piniella, 2-7. Is a pop to second base. The Yankees might do wholesale clean out if they lose this game. Mr. Steinbrenner's not going to be happy. Willie Wilson's in his last 1980 card. He'll be gone. He's not even a Yankee. We don't know the future of Reggie. But they're looking more at dismantling than winning this game right at this present time. As we go into the fourth. Disco Dan Ford, 46 is a K. Rick Peters, 2-7, pops to third. Mike Sadik, 310 is a base hit. Back up top to Bill Almone. 1-8 for Bill Almone. Let's take a look at the card. Slugging Bill Almone as power versus lefties, not against righties. Got the homer off the Guidry card. This will hit you 301 in what is the best year of the man's career, the strike year of 81 with the Chi Sox. 1-8, homer 1-8 fly ball. This one, however, too far into Death Valley in left field, not close enough to the left field foul pole, so it's caught. That would have made it 6-zip. and pretty much ended the game. Bottom of the fourth, it's Dave Rader. 1-6 is a double. Reggie, 37's a walk. Here come the Yanks. Bob Watson, 47, a walk for the right-handed batter. This is where Jim Spencer would have struck out against Witt. Now Witt's dug himself a hole here. With a 4-run lead, they're going to be content. Actually, they're not going to be content because Milbourne's an A bunter. I mean, always bring the infield up for A bunters regardless. 2-8 is a 6-2 force out at the plate. Base is still loaded for Nettles. They're going to move it back. 48, double 1-6 off of Witt is single ... and the Yankees have cut the lead in half. Runners in the corners with 1 out. 2-run lead. They'll still bring it up. Al Cowens. 111 short A. Now, that was a mistake because you would have played back. Would have been a double play to get out of the inning. Instead, you played up to prevent the run from scoring from third, which you have, but now you have to deal with Bucky Dent with 2 outs. 47, that same walk that Watson got, so it's reloaded, and now you got to deal with 330 hitting Willie Wilson. 56 is a fly ball to right field, so Mike Witt dances along the edge of the minefield, and his lead is halfway gone, 4-2, into the 5th. Brian Downing, 2-8, triple 1, base hit. Ron Jackson, 55, second C. Runner at second for Bobby Grich, had a nice day. 310 is a hit by the pitch. 2 on for Mr. Hit by Pitch, Don Baylor. 212, left A. Both runners tag up on a 420-foot can of corn. Second and third, 2 outs. It's Doug DeCinces. 2-7, let's take a look at Doug DeCinces, his best year in 82. 30 home runs, a 301 average. Former Baltimore player, had some back injuries that hurt his production. Baltimore got rid of him. Comes to California fully healthy, recovered, and then immediately 301 with 30 bombs, and he's a 1 at third base. My goodness. 2-7's a base hit into center field. Grich will try and score from second against the Wilson arm, and he does. So they get 2 runs on the single because of that long fly ball Don Baylor hit. And what the Yankees taketh, they giveth away in the following inning. Back to a 4-run game. Disco Dan Ford, runner at first, 2 outs. Rounds are short. Bottom of the 5th. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
Okay, we had mentioned that in a wild card game, and you've seen it a few times, all chips are pushed into the center of the table, so you could go to other starters and, but because he's Guidry, they've left him in there, and frankly, they're hitting their own cards. Grich did, at least. Downing did. Actually, Downing hit the Guidry card, that's true. But Guidry's primed for the taking out of here. 10 men have reached in 5 innings in a 6-2 game. Bottom of the 5th. Another rally required for these Yanks. It's Lou Piniella. 33 pops are short. Dave Rader started the rally last inning with a double. 67 off Witt is ball 4. And Reggie's been on twice. 58. This time he pops to second. And with 2 outs, it's Bob Watson. 1-5. Let's take a look at the Bob Watson card of 1980. He had some very productive years in Houston, of course. And then when he left Houston, he had a big year with Boston. He had a big year with the Yankees. A little bit later, he'll have a big year with the Atlanta Braves. Hard to believe this guy is so productive in short stays. Packs a nice suitcase. Travels well on the road. Very productive in 3 more cities. 4 cities total. Hit 307 with this card. 1-5 is gone, and once again the Yankees get another pair of runs off suddenly struggling Mike Witt. Another guy you could pull. Unfortunately for the Angels, their bullpen it's bad. It's just bad. I mean, it's good in the general essence of this, but in the carryover league, there's no competition between the Yankees. Brilliant. The Yankees' worst reliever is Terry Leach, and he'd be the best reliever on the Angels. Let's put it that way. 2 outs, 2 in, Larry Milbourne. 34. Of Grounds to first. We got a fun one, folks. They're not called wild card for no reason. They are wild, and you're seeing it. 6-4. And it's Rick Peters leading off in the 6th. 2-6, third. Need to see some progress from Guidry. Particularly, this is his breaking inning. You kind of see why now. Got to see some progress from Guidry or we'll hook them. They've got Guidry's got a 2.76 ERA. Gossage, Righetti, and Caldwell have ERAs lower than that. Matter of fact, Terry Leach's ERA, I think, is 2.56. The whole bullpen has got better ERAs than Guidry. So we're going to put a stop sign on the 6 runs at this point. Mike Sadik, 1-5, is a fly ball to left. And back up top to Bill Almone, the dangerous one. 2-6 is a strikeout. So Guidry gets a little more leash. However, there are righty, 5 straight righties coming up in the next inning, suggesting Guidry may be gone. Bottom of the 6th, Mike Witt has to stop the bleeding. 2-2 is what he's been doing lately. Greg Nettles will lead off. 2-7 is a K. Al Cowens. 110 is double 1-9. Base hit for Al Cowens. Bucky Dent. I often like to hit and run with him. I know we're down 2. But if it increases our chance of getting 1 run back, it's not a bad gig either. Bucky's going to hit and run. Increases batting average. He nails it with a deuce. He rolls snake eyes at the right time on the hit and run. And that is your double ... It's the rocket right down the line, vacated by the... Yeah. And you got 2nd and 3rd. Here come the Yankees back. And Mike Witt, he's also a starter 6. Interesting. And this is where the Angels puzzle. They just don't have... Yeah, at this point, they're in trouble. Because Mark Clear is competent, but not with runners on base where he walks guys. The other 3 guys... Actually, Paul Mitchell's good against lefties, and 3 of the next 4 are. Witt's about to break. We're just going to go to Paul Mitchell. After 5 1/3 of Mike Witt, he's about to hit the point of weakness anyway. Let's go with a fresher guy who's pretty similar to Mike Witt. That is Paul Mitchell. You'll see his card. Mitchell was 5-5 with a 3.54 ERA in 1980 with the Brewers in 89 innings. Better against lefties than righties, as was Witt. He'll come on here in the 6th with 2nd and 3rd and try and see if he can stop the bleeding here. Willie Wilson. The infield's up for the A-bunting Wilson. 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. In a 6-4 game, here's the pitch to Wilson. 2-10, Wilson delivers the single ... and the game is tied. Doesn't matter who's pitching. That's going to be an RBI. 2-run single, and the Yankees have tied it. They were down 4-0. They were down 4-2, 6-2, and they've tied it 6-6 in the 6th. Wilson against Sadik. He's going to try and steal a base. And he does on a 3. And what's the T rating? For Sadik, it is 11. He's on 3rd base. What a momentum swing we have here in the Bronx. The Yankees, suddenly, out of nowhere, in the last 3 frames, look like the Yankees of traditional Major League Baseball during the time. You got the lead run at 3rd with 1 out. They got to bring the infield up for Lou Piniella. 53, first C, but the infield was up, so the guy holds at 3rd. And you got Dave Rader. 1-8, let's take a look at Dave Rader's card. A card that in Strat-O-Matic's roster sheet that accompanies this card set, it says, don't use Dave Rader too much. Please, don't do it too much. Because poor old Dave Rader at 328, 1980, and they want to play, Strat-O-Matic wants to play spoil sport and say, hey, if you use him too much, it's going to alter the performance of the team he played for, the Red Sox in this case. It's going to make the Yankees too good. And here we are in a playoff game with Dave Rader starting, and he's just given the team a lead. So there you are. Maybe they know something about this card. It's a not fair card. You're not allowed to hit 328 in Strat-O-Matic. Raiders at first in a 7-6 game for Reggie. 3-10 is a fly ball to right. And with 2 outs, it's Bob Watson. 45 off Mitchell's a double to center field. Raiders going to have to hold at third. He's terribly slow. And we'll call it a ground rule double. Second and third, 2 outs. It's Larry Milbourne as they bat around. 2-9, grounds to first. The Yankees, 8 men in the fourth, 5 in the fifth, and a bat around in the sixth. And they take a 7-6 lead off the suddenly fading Angels, who are pretty confused about all this. They thought they did enough off of the great Ron Guidry. And moreover, Guidry, he ain't going back out there. When you get taken off the hook for a loss, you don't go back on that hook. Ask some worms. If that worm falls off the hook, he ain't in a hurry to get back on it, I'll tell you that. So, they'll go to a choice of Caudill, Leach, Righetti, and Gossage. My goodness, an embarrassment of riches. 9 outs to get. It will be a righty. We're going to go Bill Caudill. Caudill would have been a Seattle Mariner in 1982. Their closer. 12-9, 2.35 ERA in 96 innings. Only the third best reliever on this brilliant Yankee bullpen. Now you're starting to see the Steinbrenner, the greedy Yankee talent pool in play. How to close out games. They should be outstanding at this. Matter of fact, they should figure out a way to get Jim Spencer in defensively, but they're going to have to wait, I guess. Caudill comes on in the 7th. Righty specialist, and all we got are righties. Beginning with Brian Downing. 43, center X. In center field, it's Wilson. He's a 1 in center. And his E rating is, let's see here, he's an E6. And he makes the catch. Ron Jackson. 2-7 is a grounder to short. And with 2 outs, it's Bobby Grich, who homered earlier. Use another one to tie it. 48 is ball 4. And now you got Don Baylor. Ironically enough, Baylor went to the Yankees after a stint with the Angels. The big stint with the Angels. He also was a Red Sox for a short time. Here's Don Baylor. 47 is a strikeout off the Caudill card. Stretch time. Here in the Bronx, we are enjoying, oh my goodness, folks, 1975's dubbing of King Tubbies. The Aggravators and King Tubby. All the great dub classics here. Bag of Wire, Double Rights, the Stealing version. My goodness, folks. Hours and hours and hours of King Tubby. That sounds fantastic, actually. Channel 1, The Aggravators, King Tubby. Great era of that. Back to the game. Bottom of the 7th. You can even add a little bit of volume to this little thing. There we go. More King Tubby. In the bottom of the 7th, Paul Mitchell will continue to the lefty Greg Nettles. Then we'll probably see a pitching change. Nettles 3-10, grounds to first. Now 3 of the next 4 batters are right-handed. So they will go to a different pitcher. Righty Luis Sanchez in the 7th. Luis Sanchez, 82, California Angels, 7-4, 3.21 ERA in 93 innings. Luis Sanchez to Al Cowens. Here's the pitch. 69. Flies the center. And Bucky Dent. 54. Triple 1-3. Double for Bucky. Runner in scoring position for Willie Wilson. 1-7, and that's a ground to the third. And finally, the Yankees do not put a run on the board. The Angels were stopped the bleeding temporarily. They have a run to get. They have 6 outs. They got Caudill on the mound with Righetti. Who would Righetti face? Let's see. In this lineup, no one. I think Righetti's got the day off. There is no lefties in this lineup. The only lefties on the team are Gene Richards and Tim Flannery. They have the worst left-handed batters in the American League, through the Angels. So Caudill and Gossage will most likely close this thing out. Let's bring some defense in. Let's get that Jim Spencer card in here. We're going to bring in Jim Spencer for Watson to play first base. Okay, 8th inning. The slugging Angels could use another solo home run to keep the game going into extras, you would think. They got 1, 2, 3 home runs already. The batters dug the senseis. 3-6 is a walk. Good start for them. Now you got Disco Dan Ford. 49 is a K. Rick Peters. 210 is a 1-6-3 double play. And the fans are going nuts here in the Bronx. It was a terrible, horrendous start for them. And now the Yankees are showing hero magic here. After being run out of town, laid to rest, and all that wonderful stuff. 8th inning. Pinella, and then probably a lefty. 4-6 for Pinella, single 118. It's a base hit. And now we will pull Sanchez after getting a couple guys out. We go to Juan Agosto. Juan Agosto, 4.10 ERA, 2-2 and 42 innings with your 83 Chi Sox. And he will, lefty specialist, face the lefties Rader, Jackson, and Watson. Actually, you won't face Rader. They're going to face, from the bench, Alex Trevino, the backup catcher. Trevino will pinch hit. Here's the pitch to Alex Trevino. 57 is a K. Runner at first for Reggie. 56 is a K. And with 2 outs, it's Jim Spencer in for Watson. 110, a fly ball to right. Buckle up, we're in the 9th inning. Do you immediately go to Gossage? I think you have to. Do you wait to see who they announce as a pinch hitter for Mike Sadik like it really matters? It's going to be probably Gene Richards. And it doesn't matter. So we're simply just going to go to Goose Gossage in the 9th inning. Not at all concerned if they bring Gene Richards in off the bench. We got Trevino catching, by the way, with a -2 arm. But Goose Gossage, 1981 card, 3-2. His ERA is 77 cents. You could buy a bag of Utz crab chips with that back in the day. In 47 innings with 77 cents in your pocket. Okay. Mike Sadik is going to be pinch hit for. It will be Gene Richards. Let's take a look at Gene. He was their off-season acquisition. They needed a lefty bat and some more speed, and this is what they got. Very good. He'll be a Padre most of the part of his career, yeah. Angels got him to get on base in the 9th inning when you're down a run. Perfect scenario. Here's a pitch to Gene Richards. 52 is a fly ball to center, and now it's getting ugly for the Angels. Back up top, Bill Almone, but he's not facing a lefty anymore. He's facing a righty. No power, but he does have a 1-6 chance on the roll of 1-8. Here's the pitch to Bill Almone. 3-7 is single 1-12. He lines out on a 15. That's a terrible break for the Angels. And we're kind of seeing it coming to an end right now. Unless Brian Downing can pull another rabbit out of his hat. He's got a solo homer and a couple singles. He has half of the runs scored. Let's take a look at Brian Downing. 1982. Stop putting shin guards on, Brian. Your catching days are over. We're just going to leave you out in left field. We know you can't throw. You hurt your throwing arm. But that's all right. He's sure-handed. Those soft hands catchers have. He didn't make an error in left field. So his range, he was a fast catcher as well, so he's still got reasonable range as a 3. Great move for the Angels to put him in the outfield. 281, 86 walks, 28 dingers, 37 doubles. Can do pretty much everything. Really need him to come through here with a walk or something. Goose Gossage bears down. Top closer in the game to Brian Downing. And this for a trip to Oakland in the divisional round. Here's the pitch. 38 is a ground ball to short, and the comeback's complete. How about that, folks? Did not spot this one. We were writing obits early on this. We thought the Yankees were going to do their traditional fade, while the Angels have had some postseason magic for the last 3 years, going very deep into the playoffs. No more. They're one and done. It's over in New York. Your final score, the Yankees, 7-6. We'll just go right to the post game here. Gossage does what he's supposed to do and gets the save, an uneventful save. Bill Caudill used more than normally because of a right-handed laden team. He had 2 walks and 2 strikeouts, and those 3 innings bail out a pretty ineffective Guidry, who manages to stick around long enough to collect a win. They were about to pull him in the 6th inning, but he went 3 up and 3 down. So 6 innings, 9 hits, all 6 runs are earned. Just not pretty at all. A walk and 3 strikeouts. So if Guidry's giving up 6 runs in 6 innings and you're winning games, that'll take you far, actually. Juan Agosto hitting 2 Ks. Luis Sanchez gave up 2 hits and a K. Let's see here. No K. Just 2 hits. Paul Mitchell gave up 2 hits and a run. And Mike Witt, let's see. No, we pulled him to avoid the loss. So it's actually Paul Mitchell. He gave up, it was a 2-run game. He came in and threw up the single to Wilson, which tied it. Wilson stole a base, eventually scored on the Dave Rader single. So Paul Mitchell takes the loss. But Mike Witt wasn't very special either. Gave up 6 hits and 6 runs. All earned. Walked 5, struck out 2. 1019, 0108, 71169. 3554 5435. That is AL Wildcard. 54, California, and New York. So the Angels finished the year just at 15-14. They really slumped at the end. They were winning the West. Oakland passed them. And now Oakland will have the Yankees in the next round. Yankees aren't very special either, folks. They struggled in the American League East. They're only 17-15. Yankees hitting .276 with a .335 ERA. Gossage, 1 run in 16 innings. Brigetti, 3 in 16. Old Mr. Caudill, you just saw him, 1 run in 18 innings. Get into this bullpen. The Yankee starters, Guidry, John, Bryn Smith, Louis Leal. Nothing really particularly special. Reggie, yeah, he's got 10 home runs in 32 games. And California, they got to figure something else out. They got to a World Series. They just can't win, you know. Hard to argue with 3 straight chips to the LCS. And then a loss today. The Angels hit .310 this season with all those right-handed bats, with an ERA of .396. Ken Forsch, acquired in the Nolan Ryan trade, was just 3-5. Mike Witt just 2-3. The odd scenario was that Rick Waits, your number 4 starter, was 5-0, and he was easily the worst pitcher on the team. But he was 5-0. The rest of the team was 10-14. Bobby Grich, 11 homers and 32 RBIs in 29 games. My goodness. So when you look at the overall American League, yeah, there's the Angel fade. Completely faded out altogether. They're done. Yankees barely won the East by half a game, and here they are. They'll face Oakland. Yankees and Oakland. Now, they met in your 1981 American League Championship Series. And the Yankees easily dispatched them en route to a World Series defeat to the Dodgers. Dodgers are not around, fortunately, for the Yankees in this scenario. So in the scheduling, in the American League, you have Cleveland and Len Barker facing Mike Norris and the Ohio players. And we can say that the Angels are done. And the Yankees will continue and most likely have Tommy John for the next day, pitching on 3 days rest. Then they'll go Bryn Smith. Then they'll bring Guidry back on 3 days rest. And then Luis Leal. And then back to Tommy John. For Oakland, it's Steve McCatty. The Yankees, Tommy John. Oakland has Billy Martin as their manager. That would be a perfectly fitting way to end Reggie Jackson's New York tenure. And in the offseason, he'll go to the Angels as that big left-handed bat they need. In the absence of Rod Carew in California. Interesting storyline there. Cleveland at Ohio. The Yankees at Oakland. You also have the Cincinnati Reds playing Houston later there in the week. That's 3 of the 8 teams are in Ohio. Cleveland, Cincinnati, and of course the Ohio players. How about that, folks? That's it today. Break up. Have to say it. You don't like to hear me saying it, but I'll say it anyway. Break up the New York Yankees. They came back big from 2 big deficits to crawl back and win the wild card game versus the more experienced California Angels. Thanks for checking this out. We'll see you next time.